more Kolans, is that
Kolans.
correct? And you've come up with a different type of stereo guitar
Well, a different
system.
way of wiring. Instead of having a mono jack, I just substituted a stereo jack. And
Now, I was researching the electric guitar earlier, and it was nobody's in complete agreement about who invented it, but it was about 85 years ago, and when they first started humbucker and other type of basically
well,
current.
Leo Fender came out with a guitar, a Telecaster, about 1947. And then days, everything was in mono.
From what you and I've talked about before, it sounds like this is like sort of the first innovation in pickup systems or wiring.
Yeah, since Leo Fender started it in 1947, because everything was in mono. TV sets, everything, radio broadcasts, AM, everything was in mono. I was born in 1952, and I kind of grew up, with the changes that have been occurring. And I was playing at least 45 years playing electric guitar with a mono output until the idea came to me that I could just, they're the same size jack, a 1/4-inch phone jack, switch over a stereo jack for the mono and run 2 channels.
Yeah. All right. So why don't you explain? Is this guitar? What type of pickup do you have on there?
Well, this is a Bill Lawrence pickup.
Okay.
There was another pickup in here. I was explaining to Wayne before that the pickup that was in here was hardwired so that it comes out in a mono configuration.
Right.
It was the same size as a humbucker, but it was essentially a mono output pickup. This pickup has the ability of what they call coil splitting.
Okay.
Okay, so that each of these single coils, you can wire them together, or you can wire them separately. I wired these 2 separately, so that one coil goes to one channel, and the other coil goes to a second channel. And I have a stereo jack in here. I replaced the mono jack with a stereo jack. There's just a little plate back here. You take out these screws, and you can get to the wiring.
And the output from here goes into a stereo amp instead of a mono amp?
Well, it goes into a stereo cord, okay? Instead of a mono cord, you have a stereo cord. And then from there, it goes into a splitter on the floor or somewhere where you can plug it into 2 separate amplifiers. So what I'm doing is sort of like home wiring. And what I want to spread the news so that manufacturers, instead of having to split the wires on the ground to 2 separate amplifiers, to make a stereo amplifier with a stereo input jack. So you can just run one wire from your guitar into your amplifier and it's in stereo. Instead of having to split it on the ground and run, 2 separate amplifiers or whatever. It'd be much easier, if they just built them that way.
So was there something that prompted you to think of this, or just came to you out of the blue?
Well, I've been thinking about it, and I don't really know. I'm not really sure where the idea came from. But I said it was 45 years that I was playing the guitar in mono. And most other guitar players will tell you the same thing that have been around like from the 60s.
Right.
They'll tell you the same thing. Every guitar you buy from the manufacturers is configured in a mono jack, and you could switch pickups or whatever. But it's kind of inefficient. Okay, like if you had a heating furnace for your house, and you found a more efficient way to heat the house, you would do that. You understand what I'm saying now?
Yeah.
Okay, so on this guitar, it's just a single pickup in here, but I split it so that each
benefit is when you split it into two channels? You were talking about a chorus effect
Well,
earlier.
what happens is, it'd be easier to explain this on this other guitar, okay? On this guitar, it's a 3 pickup setup.
Wow.
Okay, and it's still this is the same pickup that's in there, a Bill Lawrence. Okay, so these are 2 single coils, but I can wire these so it has an internal connection, and both coils are wired together. So you have one pickup here, another pickup here, and another pickup here, and these switches change the internal wiring. These switches here, there was a 5-way switch in here. It was mono. This was a tone control, and this was a volume control. I rewired it so that they're both volume controls. And the pickups, I have the wiring so that you can have single coils or you can have double coils internally wired. And there's 4 different positions. And again, with the stereo jack in here, so that each volume control controls each A channel and a B channel. Now, the benefits of having a stereo output instead of a mono output is that you can pick up the string vibrations from 2 different locations at the same time. With a mono output line, if you combine both of these pickups together, it's still going to come out in mono. So it separates the location of each pickup. It's like having a microphone over on this side and a microphone over on this side. You get a stereo field, okay? So that if you're picking over here by this pickup, that channel will be a little bit louder than this channel. And the reverse is true. If you're playing over here by the bridge, this channel will sound a little bit louder. And you could balance it on the guitar, to how you have your amp set up, okay? So that's one of the main advantages. Because in mono, when you play guitar in mono, what you basically do is turn everything up full blast and just leave it there. Right. But if you have 2 separate channels, you're constantly trying to balance them, okay? So that these pickups take on a new meaning. I mean, these controls. Right. So that instead of just one volume control all the way up, and you're switching pickups back and forth, you're blending, you're mixing on the guitar 2 completely different sounds you can have.
Now, when you were playing at the River Garden, you had them going into effects box before they go into the amp. Is that right?
Yes, they go from the guitar to an effects box, which takes a single each channel and splits that again into a stereo, a chorus or a delay that ping pongs left and right, and that's multiplied by 2. So you have one pickup into one stereo effects box, the other pickup into another stereo effects box, and combined you have a 4-channel system that you can configure any way you want. You can have two channels in front and 2 behind you, or you can put them all in a line. And that's what I was doing at the River Garden, experimenting with different locations for the speakers. Because every time you set it up, there's different reasons for where you place your amplifiers in the speakers.
music did you start off in?
Well, in 1965, there was the British invasion. There was the Rolling Stones, there was the Beatles, there was Cream, Jimi Hendrix. All of these people were around, and then they all died off like by the time the 70s came in. Well, not all of them, but a lot of the innovators. Jimi Hendrix in particular, his performances were an inspiration for everybody. You talk to anybody that was back there at that time, they'll tell you he was the best. We've been having these discussions on the bus going to school. Who's better, Eric Clapton or Jimi Hendrix?
Sure.
And it was hands down, it was Jimi Hendrix. But Eric, he survived where others did not. The guy's over 70 years old, and he's still playing. And you have to acknowledge people who survived all those days that were in turmoil, political turmoil, and the war in Vietnam, all of that stuff going on. It wasn't just the music; it was the lifestyle that people were leading back then. Well,
Great. So, did you ever play professionally or just as a hobbyist? Or?
Well, in high school, I was with a bunch of guys that were older than me. 3 other guys, a keyboard player, a drummer, and a bass player. And I was the youngest in the band. I was a sophomore. The keyboard player was a junior, and the bass player and the drummer were seniors. And for 1 year, we worked out a set. And we were getting jobs Friday and Saturday nights, and making money back in them days that would take an average worker like all week to make them.
Sure.
We were making that money in 1 or 2 nights. But after that band, the seniors graduated, the band broke up like in 1 year, and for me it just never really had that same momentum. So after I got out of high school, I had bands and stuff, but the money wasn't there. You play in a bar, like for maybe 1 set or so, and the guy would give you like $15 for the whole band, and you would drink for free and stuff, but it just wasn't the same. The money wasn't there. So I kind of branched off onto my own. I get a bass guitar, I'd get some electronic drums, and just kind of work this music out for myself. I don't have to play professionally. I have other source of income. And
So regarding the stereo guitar technology, I guess, what would you most want people to take away from what it offers?
Well, first of all, it's the sound quality that you can hear. If you use a stereo amplifier that you would play CDs on, where both channels are electronically matched, they're essentially the same sound coming out of either channel. You can hear distinctly. The pickup up by the neck is a little bassier sound than the pickup down by the bridge, just because of the location. But the combination of a bassier sound and a treble sound at the same time gives an acoustic signature that's, when I heard it for the first time, it made sense to me. It made sense, and I went back and I rewired every guitar that I had into a stereo configuration out. And since then, I've come to notice that the idea is not really catching on, because people have like a way about them, a mindset that they just keep doing the same thing over and over. And the manufacturers, I tried to communicate with some retail outlets, and they don't understand what what you're doing on the guitar. So I figure the best thing to do is try to demonstrate, get other people who are interested, and try to communicate to them that it's just a different way of rewiring the guitar. If you had a computer, it'd be a software change.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mark, thank you for taking time to talk with me. It's great. I really enjoyed your playing the other day, and I look forward to seeing more of you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.